A recently leaked video, supposedly from the 1970s, shows a military medical facility. The cameraman films two transparent box-shaped containers. Inside, we can see what appear to be two alien greys connected to medical devices on their arms and with tubes down their mouths. The two figures stand motionless with large heads, big dark eyes, and long arms. The creatures look to be about 3 feet tall. It is believed the video was filmed at Area 51. Given the questionable source and unverifiable nature of the footage, it's tempting to dismiss it as an elaborate fake using props or dolls. However, if authentic, this would provide extraordinary evidence of the existence of extraterrestrials and secret government research programs. Without further context or verification, it's impossible to make a definitive assessment of the video's legitimacy. More investigation is needed to determine if we are truly seeing evidence of aliens or an elaborate hoax.
Stole secret UFO footage.
How?
He found a guy who apparently has the best UFO footage in the world, and he's never released it to anyone because he's too scared to. So he went to his house with $100 grand to make him an offer to buy the footage off him, but he wouldn't do it. So Logan had a little camera on his shirt, and he paid the guy $100 grand to just watch the video with him, and he recorded it on his shirt.
Now, are you sure this isn't just Logan Paul getting faked out again, like with the Pokemon cards?
I would say yes, but this is coming from like the top UFO guy. Gave Logan Paul the lead, but it is Logan Paul.
Logan Paul could potentially be the biggest national threat to the United States right now.
Yeah, that information could change the world.
Secret footage of a portal into another dimension open up.
عم خذها انا مش سامعك.
Body washed on a beach. Top secret footage.
footage is 100 years old. It shows part of the military exercises that took place off the east coast of the United States between 1921 and 1923. The Martin MB-2 airplane is emitting a trail of chemical smoke that rains down to the surface of the ocean, forming a dense smoke curtain hundreds of feet tall. The smoke is created from a highly toxic chemical called titanium tetrachloride. It's a colorless liquid that reacts with air moisture to form the smoke you see here, which consists of hydrated titanium acid and hydrogen chloride. It is dangerous to work with, an irritant to respiratory systems, and can corrode metal. It's not hard to imagine how this process of delivering huge chemical payloads by airplanes at altitude would be important to later developments in geoengineering and cloud seeding. If they were doing this 100 years ago, imagine what they can do now.
Экипаж одевает защитные очки. Приближается к точке взрыва. Высота 4000 метров. Осталось 3 секунды. 2, 1, 0. Взрыв сопровождался световой вспышкой необычной силы. В этот момент самолет-носитель находился в 40 и последующие свечения, несмотря на сплошную облачность, были видны в радиусе до... Полевой столб, поднимающийся с земли, быстро увеличился в объеме. Через несколько секунд после взрыва диаметр полевого столба составлял около 10 километров. Увеличиваясь в размерах, облако медленно поднималось вверх. В своем конечном развитии оно достигло высоты 60-65 километров.
While I was browsing through the Internet archives, I stumbled across this old video. It's CCTV footage from 1990. It shows a couple of kids playing in an alley, kicking a ball around, when something bizarre happens. If you're the sensitive type, you might just want to keep scrolling. The event happens here, but I have to show it to you in freeze frames for, well, you know why. Here are the freeze frames of what happened. The next scene is perhaps the most haunting, because it shows a giant gaping hole in the ground where the dumpster made impact. How does something like this happen? The link to the original post for this video was broken, so there was no way to trace it back to its original poster, and no way to find out where it came from. If anybody has any information about this video, please let me know in the comments.
Secret photos from the past that will leave you speechless. Number 3. Andre the Giant takes a plane ride. It's quite an unusual and impressive scene. André-René Roussimoff, better known as Andre the Giant, was a renowned French wrestler known for his towering size. In this rare photo, you can see him almost cramped in a plane, struggling to find adequate comfort. It gives a perspective on his incredible stature that made him an unforgettable figure in the world of wrestling. Number 2. Have you ever heard of the breakers who worked in the coal mines back in the day? Their job involved exactly what the name suggests. The primary role of these miners was to manually separate pieces of coal. Once the coal had been mined and sent down the factory line, these children's job was to break it down into similar-sized chunks. Number 1. In 2015, Archaeologists digging in Lajia, China, discovered the 4,000-year-old remains of a mother embracing and protecting what was supposed to be her child from what researchers think was a massive earthquake in 2000 BC. This caused flooding of the Yellow River and widespread destruction. Today, the skeletons are now on display at the Lajia Ruins Museum in Qinghai Province, northwest China. 3 secret photos from
The glitter conspiracy. So there's this main glitter manufacturing, it's called GlitterX.
GlitterX.
And one guy from the New York Times went, it was like weirdly top secret. He was talking to one of the higher ups. Yeah,
Because there's a shortage.
Yeah, so
That's the biggest thing.
There's a shortage in the world.
He started talking to him just because he's like, okay, so there's a shortage. What's happening? Who's your bit? Like, he's just asking questions.
Yeah, and so he asked if he can get a tour of the place, and the guy's like, absolutely not. He said you can't even be in a room next to it and hear how it's being made.
What? What about the sound of it being made would
Don't know.
ruin
What if
the
it's just
secret?
aliens?
I need you to make this glitter now.
But there's one company, she said, that is the biggest buyer of all glitter. And he says, what is it? And she said, it's like, I can't tell you that. He said, if I looked at it, would I know it's glitter? Talking about the product that they use this glitter in, the main buyer of glitter. And she said, no, not really. They don't want anyone to know that it is glitter.
So I'm flying over a big public airport in Las Vegas when I stumbled across a secret terminal full of unmarked planes. These airliners are different from the rest. They have no name written on the side, just a single red stripe across the windows, which are always closed when they go by.
For the 10,000 die Jahr für Jahr.
You don't know about manifesting. They're literally keeping this a secret from you. The fact is 99% of people don't know this. I'm gonna have to watch my words on this video because they don't want this out there. Just so that it's digestible to you, I'm gonna break it down to 3 steps. Number 3, the fact is that they're constantly trying to distract you from this. Which leads me to number 2, it's about to blow your mind, bro. You see this right here? All the Monopoly boards? Check out what's underneath them. You. Number 2 is that you need to raise your vibration. But how do you do that in this world? Hi, I'm Kato. I'm here to put more positivity in your life and raise your vibration. You can sub on YouTube if you like. The top 2 secrets involve breaking free of the mind trap that you've been placed in. Majority of people, probably including you if you're just scrolling, are on the scarcity mindset. And by the way, I can't wait to read all the scarcity comments from all the sheeple. Check this out. Love is a high, expansive energy. Love or fear? Fear is low. Abundance, love, creation, or fear, scarcity. It's right in your face. This is number 1, abundance. Lucky for you, I just dropped an abundance mindset training. The link.
Never lied. About what? So the movie Up was real. There was an old woman named Edith Macefield. She lived in the same house for 50 years. One day, she was offered $1 million. Developers wanted to tear her house down and build a mall. She didn't take it. Wait, why? The memories she had in that house were priceless. The developers ended up building around the house. But there was a construction manager named Barry. He would check up on her every day. Over time, they became really close friends. But one day, Edith fell down her stairs. Barry took her to the hospital, Unfortunately, she had cancer. She passed away. But the house still stands as a symbol that memories
don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So give me all the scope.
Robo-Rat. That was the first biohybrid. So a biohybrid is when you mix animal and a machine. And people freaked out. They were like, you cannot put brain chips in rats and make them move through a maze by a remote control, which is what they were doing. They now have pigeons that are mixed animal and machine.
What?
They created something called, there's a moth. So there's a Manduca sexta moth. That's what it's called. It's a large moth. And scientists put brain chips into the larva so that when it cocooned and became a flying moth, it had the chip built into its system, making it easier to integrate, and they could fly the moth around the lab. And that was a huge step, and this is now 4 years ago that I was interviewing these scientists.
Historical photos that hide a secret. A simple class photo in 1998. The student at the top of the photo is Kim Jong-un, the current leader of North Korea, who studied at an elite private school in Switzerland. A parade in the streets of New York in 1865. This is Abraham Lincoln's funeral procession. Future President Theodore Roosevelt, age 6, and his younger brother look out of the window of their grandfather's Union Square mansion. A fencing match during the 1912 Olympic Games. The man on the left is George S. Patton, General of the U.S. Army during the Second World War. Drivers blinded by paparazzi in 1997. The passenger behind was none other than Lady Diana, who died in a car accident a few minutes later. A man playing sport in 1912? This is actually the gym inside the Titanic. Note that this photo was taken on April 11, 1912, just a few days before the ship sank.
Have you ever wondered why the search for the Titanic was such a big deal? In 1985, oceanographer Bob Ballard uncovered the Titanic's wreckage, captivating the globe. But did you know that the search for the Titanic was actually a cover-up for a secret mission by the U.S. government? Ballard was hired to use his robotic sub to check the status of 2 U.S. nuclear submarines, which sank in the Atlantic in the 60s. The Navy didn't want the Soviets to know about their search, so the guys of searching for the Titanic provided a perfect alibi. Ballard's crew located the lost nuclear subs and then, utilizing their remaining 12 days, unearthed the Titanic.